Welcome to Deep Cuff Channel. Ukrainian army is about to checkmate Russia. Confession-like statements came from the Russian authorities. Ukrainian heroes are getting closer and closer to victory every day. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky made important statements. Number of Russian ships in the Black Sea began to increase. What is Russia's plan in the Black Sea? Will the Iron Dome project of the Ukrainian army come true? Explosion sounds from the Crimean Peninsula point to major conflicts. NATO countries can cooperate to increase their defense spending. What will NATO's relations with Ukraine be like in the future? Ukrainian army managed to destroy 750 soldiers, 5 tanks, 7 armored combat vehicles, 6 artillery systems, 1 multi-barreled rocket launcher system, 1 air defense system, 1 helicopter, and 3 tactical unmanned aerial vehicles in operations against the Russians. After these losses of Russia, the Strategic Communications Department of the Ukrainian Armed Forces shared an important update on the front. Accordingly, the Ukrainian defenders managed to completely destroy a critical ammunition depot in the Svatov district, located in the Luhansk region. Independent sources announced that this ammunition depot is of critical importance for Russia and has carried dozens of truckloads of ammunition and weapons to this depot in the last 2 weeks. Following the attack, Ukrainian drones detected a critical base belonging to the Russian Wagner Group in Pervomaisk, another critical area in the Luhansk region. Following the intelligence provided by unmanned aerial vehicles, Ukrainian missile and artillery units began to carry out very severe attacks on this region. It was stated that as a result of the attack carried out with HIMARS rocket systems, all members of the Wagner Group in the region were neutralized. In addition, the sounds of explosions from the southern region show the diversity of the Ukrainian army. According to independent sources of the Ukrainska Pravda news channel, the Ukrainian army has captured the critical area of Veliky Potomkin, located between the Kherson region and the city of Dnipro. Ukrainian flags are clearly visible in recent videos from the region. Ukrainian General Staff did not make an official statement on the matter. However, on the first day of the year, we reported that the Ukrainian army carried out violent attacks in the southern region. As a matter of fact, the Russian Ministry of Defense admitted that it could not partially prevent its losses in the war. Russia admitted its worst loss reported this week after Ukrainian forces said they had hit a base in the town of Makiivka, where Russian troops are stationed. Russia rarely admits its military losses in the war. However, contrary to popular belief, this situation exacerbates the crisis rather than a docking. Namely, after the attacks of the Ukrainian army on the front, the officials in the Kremlin began to express their discontent about the Russian commanders who commanded the Ukrainian war. Many channels broadcasting throughout Russia began to acknowledge the army's crisis. Of course, this situation makes Russian President Vladimir Putin very uncomfortable. This situation especially increases Putin's willingness to do everything in his power to win the war. However, the arms and ammunition crisis experienced by the army serves as a chain that has been put on the Russian army. According to the news that the British Ministry of Defense, based on intelligence data on the subject, Russian forces significantly reduced the severity of their attacks, especially against the strategic city of Bakhmut in the Donbass region. It was noted that at the moment, Russian offensive operations in this area are carried out only at the platoon or squad level. Report states that it is unlikely that Russia will make any significant progress near Bakhmut in the coming weeks. Serhiy Cherevity, spokesman for the Eastern Operational Command of Ukraine, said that Russian troops in Donbass had to significantly reduce the intensity of their use of artillery due to a possible shortage of shells. According to Cherevity, Moscow troops are firing about 20,000 rounds a day, although they are currently concentrated in small sections of the front line. We should point out that when the war first started, this number was 60,000 per day. Kyrylo Budanov, the chief of Ukrainian military intelligence, recently presented data confirming Cherevity's statements. Ukrainian army is increasing its operations in various regions day by day in order to benefit from this crisis experienced by the Russian army at the maximum level. According to the latest information, Mikhail Razvozhayev, the so-called governor of the Russian-controlled city of Sevastopol, reported that air defense was operating in the city and a drone was shot down over the sea. According to Russian military sources, a total of 3 explosions were heard in Sevastopol, the strategic region of the Crimean Peninsula. Although Russian officials claim that Ukrainian drones were the main cause of the explosions in the region, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry has not yet made a statement about the incident. But after the attacks on the Crimean Peninsula, Russia ordered its troops to prepare for an emergency. Accordingly, Russian warships in the Black Sea began to experience mobility. It is stated that 6 Russian warships, which were previously in the east of the Black Sea, started to move towards the Sea of Azov. These Russian ships are allegedly carrying a high number of Caliber-type cruise missiles. As a matter of fact, Maxim Jorin, the former commander of the Azov Regiment, claims that Russia is preparing to launch a major attack from the southern and northern regions. Deployment of Russian ships to the southern region and the reduction of attacks on the northeastern city of Bakhmut could be a sign that Russian troops are trying to gather strength. Also, Jorin said that it is not known where the Russian troops will attack at the moment. Biggest measure that Ukraine will take against these attacks will undoubtedly be the increase of air defense systems. On the subject, Ukrainian Armed Forces Air Force Command spokesperson Yuri Init said that it is physically impossible to build an Iron Dome air defense system over Ukraine in the coming period, similar to the one used in Israel. This job takes years and requires a lot of equipment and resources. Air defense systems delivered to the Ukrainian army to date have played a critical role for the Ukrainian army. However, it is a fact that the Ukrainian army needs more than that. In this context, important news comes from NATO countries. Member states of the North Atlantic Alliance announced that they would discuss increasing their defense spending at the insistence of several countries. Secretary General believes that the Allies will finalize the agreement at the next summit in Vilnius on 11 to 12 July at the latest. Stoltenberg did not specify exactly who was pushing for increased defense spending, but diplomatic sources indicate that such calls have come from Poland, Lithuania, and the UK recently. This situation is of great concern to Ukraine, because, according to the Alliance Press Service, on January 2nd, the NATO Military Committee will meet in person in Brussels, Belgium, on January 18 to 19, 2023, to discuss, among other things, continued support for Ukraine. NATO Military Committee Heads of Defense session meeting will allow 32 chiefs of defense to discuss issues of strategic importance to the alliance. Decisions that will come out of this meeting may herald new aid for the Ukrainian army. We will continue to monitor the world and especially Ukraine. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.